Hello, welcome. This is Martha Hines with Living the One Light. Okay, so today I am really excited and looking forward to dropping into some things I'm feeling in the upcoming eclipse season. And I'm going to be doing another video separately with Marina Burrell and Jamie Goldstein, also talking about the eclipses, and I'm really excited to hear their perspective on all of this. But before I meet with them in a couple of days, I wanted to drop into some of the things I'm feeling and give you my personal perspective on some things. Specifically, I'll get more into this, but specifically the thing I'm really feeling called to talk about and super excited about is to drop into the energetic and the role that the dwarf planet Haumea is playing in these eclipses and in this time in general, because she's been sitting on the south node of the moon, essentially. So, and actually the south node is moving toward her right now. So that energy of her being on the south node of the moon has been with us for a little while and is still going to be with us for a little while, but she's going to be right there on these eclipses, during these eclipses. So I'm especially feeling called to talk about her and her role in these eclipses. But I also wanted to say that I will also be holding a special eclipse gathering next Friday. So the first eclipse, the new moon eclipse, the solar eclipse is happening on April 19th, Wednesday, and then I'll be holding this eclipse gathering on April 21st, Friday, April 21st, where I'm going to go even more into depth in the astronomy and the astrology of both eclipses that are coming up. The first one being on April 19th, and the second one is on May 5th. And also during that gathering, I will look at volunteers' charts. I already have several people who have volunteered, but if you have maybe room for maybe one or two more, so if you do want to attend that, please sign up and email me and let me know soon that you want to be a volunteer, and I'll look at as many charts as I can. But then I'm also going to help us drop into a channeled experience of what these eclipse energies might be really moving for you individually, in addition to us collectively. And so in this video, what I'm really wanting to focus on is I want to name what's calling to me in this moment as I'm recording this on April 11th, 2023. But then in that gathering, I really want to drop in really deeply with the spirit world, with you, with your spirit guidance also, and hold space for whatever healing transformation is meant to be, whatever the opportunities are for you personally, and again collectively, that I just want to hold space for that to be held in the highest potential and the highest good for all involved. So again, that's Friday, April 21st, next Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, and it'll be recorded and you can be there live or not, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, all right. So what I want to talk about today, I'll start with outlining the gist, the basics of the two eclipses coming up. So, like I said, the first eclipse is a new moon solar eclipse on April 19th, again, 2023. And that new moon will be at 29 degrees, 50 minutes of Aries. So very, 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 very last minutes of the sign of Aries. We had the last new moon we had was also in Aries, but at 0 degrees of Aries. So we had a new moon at the very beginning of Aries, actually, which is also at the very beginning of the entire zodiac. And then we're going to be having this new moon eclipse at 2950 of Aries. So the very, very, very end of the sign of Aries. Fascinating. And then we also just had a full moon at 16 degrees of Libra, which meant that the sun was at 16 degrees of Aries. So that full moon was highlighting the middle of the Aries sign. So this whole set of weeks is like bookending the entire sign of Aries. And I've made other videos talking about that and the interplay of Chiron and all of that, because Chiron has been sitting in the middle degrees of Aries for quite a while and still will be there for quite a while. So Chiron was conjunct the sun on that full moon at 16 degrees of Libra. And it's still sitting there, in the middle of where the original new moon in Aries was at 0 degrees of Aries, and then this new moon eclipse at 29. So there's that. So that's the new moon solar eclipse on April 19th, 2023. Then 2 weeks later, we're going to have a full moon lunar eclipse at 14, almost 15 degrees of Scorpio. So that eclipse is going to be the last eclipse that we are having with the nodes in Scorpio and Taurus. So the new moon eclipse happening at the end of Aries on April 19th will be sort of starting the energy of the fact that the nodes are about to switch in July 2023 from being in Scorpio and Taurus to Libra and Aries. But the eclipse happening on May 5th will kind of be closing out the eclipses that have been happening in the Scorpio Taurus axis. Okay, so that's the gist of the facts, or some of the facts, the basic fact, very, very basic facts. Okay, now there's so many components to all of it, and again, I will drop more deeply and in more detail into my take on even the facts at that eclipse gathering on April 21st. But what I'm feeling called to really focus on in this video is this incredibly powerful opportunity and energy that I'm feeling on so many levels. Okay, so again, the South Node for all of us currently still is in Scorpio. And it will still be in Scorpio through this whole eclipse season until July, the middle-ish of July. I'm getting the exact date, but it's like the 3rd week of July. As the South Node is still currently in Scorpio, the nodes also happen to be squared by Pluto, which rules Scorpio. So this energetic of Pluto and Scorpio energy is very strong right now, very alive. And it will be as we're moving through these eclipses. So at this moment, Pluto has just entered Aquarius. So it's at 0 degrees of Aquarius. And that first eclipse, the 29 degree of Aries eclipse, the new moon eclipse, again, will be at 29 degrees of Aries. So Pluto will be squaring. I mean, it's out of sign, but it's, virtually almost precisely squaring the new moon. So Pluto is barely at 0 degrees of Aquarius, and the new moon is at 29:50 minutes of Aries. So it's almost at 0 degrees of Taurus. which would be precisely squaring Pluto. And the South Node, again, is still in Scorpio, ruled by Pluto. So this Plutonian energy is super strong at this new moon eclipse. And also, among other things, like I was saying at the beginning of the video, Haumea, which is one of the Kuiper Belt objects, one of the objects that is in the vicinity of where Pluto orbits, it is currently at 0 degrees of Scorpio. So essentially opposite where the new moon will be at 29 Aries. And it's in this long-term square with Pluto. And the South Node in Scorpio is approaching Haumea. Haumea is currently going retrograde, so it's about to actually enter Libra again. But it's doing a dance between Libra and Scorpio at the same time that Pluto is doing a dance between Aquarius and Capricorn. So Haumea and Pluto are doing this long-term dance of squaring each other as they are both these Kuiper Belt objects. These, they're in the same sort of sphere of our solar system, and they are they're squaring each other as they're both kind of dancing between the signs that they're in. So that just in and of itself is super fascinating, really powerful to me, calling to me very strongly. Okay, what does this all mean? It's probably your question. What I'm feeling in this is okay. Pluto and the South Node in Aries, and in particular, Pluto squaring the nodes with the South Node in Aries, Pluto ruling that South Node, is just a continued energetic that we've been having for a while now of us really being encouraged and supported to release, to let go of so much on a deep soul level, individually, collectively, karmically, through all layers of time and space and everything. And in particular, with Pluto still in this dance between Capricorn and Aquarius, one of the energies of that for me is absolutely Pluto still, even though it's moved into Aquarius, I still feel this energetic of it. Its energy is still in this dance with Capricorn and Aquarius. So it's still helping us to release and let go of the structures that no longer serve us. So I've mentioned this in other videos, but I'm feeling this still incredibly strongly in my own life, in my own being, in what I'm being asked to do in the world, how I'm being asked to show up, my own internal process around, in my own life. But I think it's a universal or collective phenomenon, which is, as I think I've mentioned in various videos, my dad died in December of 2022, so about actually exactly 4 months ago. Is that right? Yes, 4 months ago today. Actually, I'm recording this on April 11th, and he died on December 11th. So after in the time since he's died, I have been going through a huge number of, in various ways, letting go of my karma with him, but also letting go of my karma with regard to the masculine in general, and with regard to gender in general, with regard to the whole masculine, feminine, non-binary, all of it, all just karma in general, lots and lots of letting go of patterning. And what the spirit world is telling me very distinctly, very clearly, is that this is true for me, but I think true for many of us, and maybe you can relate, and I'd love to hear if you have any reflections or thoughts, feelings about this. What they essentially say is, to me, is what I am needing to be on the planet, the role I'm needing to hold and serve. I have to completely release all of my preconceived structures, like all of my preconceived notions of how I have been operating on a structural energetic level with regard to lots of things, but specifically with regard to the masculine and the feminine and my relationship to that whole set of dynamics through every lifetime I've ever had on this planet and in any other big realm of existence, anywhere in existence, everywhere, all of it. Like I need the death of my dad in a way is allowing me to radically forgive. There's nothing I need to hold on to. There's nothing I need to be worried about or scared of. I mean, not that I needed really to be scared of my dad to begin with when he was alive, but just there's just truly no reason anymore for me to hang on to any of that. And so again, on a personal level, I've been doing a lot of ancestral clearing, ancestral healing, forgiveness, really radical forgiveness of myself, of my dad, of all of it, on many levels. So to me, that's a continuation of this Pluto Scorpio energy, and also the Chiron energy. Chiron is very connected to ancestral healing. Melanie Reinhardt talks a lot about ancestral healing with regard to Chiron, and I recently did an interview with Melanie that I'll be sharing with all of you who sign up for Rebecoming the One, which actually is available, and you can do that, and I will give you the Melanie Reinhardt video as a gift for signing up right away, because I want to share it with you. So anyway, just as a side note, if you would like to do that, let me know, and I will get you that video, because it's a really wonderful video. But so I've been, reading a lot about Chiron and diving into Melanie's work, and Chiron has, in her way of experiencing Chiron, has a lot to do with ancestral healing, among other things. And again, Chiron has been a big player in the astrology of this few months, and is going to continue to be a really strong player coming up. So I just, in general, I'm feeling in this time still this continued request, in a sense, and opportunity from the spirit world and the cosmic world, and our own souls, saying, yeah, let it all go. It served its purpose. You lived that particular structure, and now you're here to embody something else, to embody something clear and clean, and for whatever it is that the world is needing. It's like I get this image of me, but I think many of us being a crystal clear vessel of the divine, period, the end. And so that means letting go. I mean, it sounds so extreme, sounds really out there. I acknowledge that. I agree with you if that's what you're feeling, because I'm feeling that too. But that's what I get told, and it feels very real, that this is a time when many of us have come in and agreed, like, yeah, this moment, boom, I'm here as a fully clear, crystal clear, crystalline light body, earth body being, period, the end. I'm going to just let go of all the rest of it can just go. And Pluto Pluto is a helper in that. That's what I feel. And that South Node in Scorpio too is just like, let it go, 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 let it go. Really, really powerful opportunity for that. So then what, right? Like, so when we're that crystal clear vessel, that being that is ultimately who we are and what we're here to be on this planet in this time, moving forward for the rest of our existence on this planet in this lifetime, etc. What then? And I don't know the answers yet. I don't think that I'm meant to know the answers yet. And I don't think we need I mean, if you have the answer, great. I celebrate that. And I don't feel like I'm meant to have answers right this second. But one clue or guidepost, or something that's really calling to me in the what then question or answer is this energetic of Haumea. So powerful, so beautiful. So and in addition to Haumea, also Estrella. So on this new moon eclipse at 29 degrees 50 minutes of Aries, Estrella will be sitting with the new moon. So Estrella, I did a whole talk on Estrella a few months ago. It was free. It's on my YouTube channel. You can find it. It was with EA Zoom meetings, but I have it linked on my YouTube channel, and I will link it also with this video. I did a whole thing on Estrella. And essentially she is an asteroid who, her mythology talks about her being a bridge between Earth and stars. So to me, she's an energetic of who we are. I certainly relate to that Estrella energy, and actually natally Estrella is conjunct my sun. So that's probably part of why I relate to it. But I think lots of you relate to that Estrella energy. Probably if you're watching this video, probably Estrella plays very strongly in your chart, I'm going to guess. Because that Estrella energy is this reality that I think most of us, or maybe even all of us, every being is a connector literally between the stars and Earth, because the Earth is part of the cosmos. So she actually is also a bridge between herself and the cosmos in a sense. So that Estrella energy, will be again sitting with the new moon on this eclipse. Super beautiful, super strong. Okay, but an even deeper energy is Haumea sitting on the south node of the moon, with the south node moving toward her, and Haumea is squaring Pluto and opposite that new moon at 2950 of Aries, because Haumea on the new moon will be at 0 degrees of Scorpio. She's currently at 0 degrees of Scorpio, and she's about to head back into Libra. Actually, before the next eclipse on May 5th, she will move into Libra. So on that second eclipse, she'll be at 29 degrees of Libra. So that's a whole other conversation, which I will get more into at my eclipse gathering next Friday, the 21st. I'll go more deeply into that second. I'll talk about both eclipses at that eclipse gathering. So if you want to dive more deeply into that, please join me there. But in terms of this Aries eclipse, Haumea will still be at 0 degrees of Scorpio and opposite that new moon and squaring Pluto. Okay, so what is Haumea? Who is Haumea? Haumea, again, I'm going to go more deeply into this at that eclipse gathering, but on a basic level, I am so called to Haumea. And I looked at my natal chart not surprisingly, Haumea happens to be basically on my ascendant. So Estrella is conjunct my sun. Haumea is basically conjunct my moon and my Hygeia and my ascendant. Very, 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 very strong in my natal chart. But for all of us, she's playing out so strongly right now. Because again, she's very close to the south node of the moon, and the south node is moving toward her. And she's squaring Pluto, as Pluto is squaring the nodes. Okay, so Haumea. Haumea is, again, one of the Kuiper Belt objects. She's in that same band of planetary bodies that are in the same realm as Pluto. So she's very, very far out there. I think her orbit is around the same amount of time as the orbit of Pluto. So, 257 years. It's somewhere in that range. I will give you those exact details again at that eclipse gathering. And what Haumea has to do with is she is a goddess, a creator goddess, and she births things from her whole being, her whole body, her whole being. So what I feel in that is, it's like we, again, with that Scorpio energy, that Pluto energy, we're being asked to release these old ways, these old structures, this karmic way of being. Let it go, that whole letting it go thing. And then, again, it's this question of, so then what? Well, the so then what for me is powerfully connected to this Haumea energy. I mean, and we're all different. We all have different ways of the so then what for you may be very different than for me. But collectively, with her sitting there in the south node, squaring Pluto, it feels to me like she's holding the space. She's very far out in our solar system again, and the Kuiper Belt objects have a very ecliptical orbit, and their orbit is tilted compared to our orbit around the sun, and so there's a lot of energy of them doing things differently, maybe than the many of the planets in our closer in solar system. So there's lots of components there that I can feel into, but in general, I feel her holding the space of helping us remember the way in which our natural way of creating is. So in the last, I don't know how long, at least since the Enlightenment, at least in the last 250, 300 years, the world has, especially in Western cultures, European cultures, Western European cultures, gotten, and the United States, Canada, etc., been very focused on the intellect, the mind, left brain way of being, logic, linear thinking, all of those things. And producing in an industrialized way, like the Industrial Revolution happened, and things, we want to be very efficient and modern, and create conveyor belts where things are produced, like minutia are reproduced over and over and over again to be efficient and quick and make money. And it's very focused on the material, immediate linear goals in that way, which certainly has some benefits, and there are some pros to all of that. Okay, not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. And at the same time, speaking for myself, but I think this is true generally, is that when we think about production, when we think about creation, when we think about doing or accomplishing things, typically, probably most of us or most of the world would come from this linear, rational, intellectual, mental way of doing things. Not always, but that tends to have been what has been rewarded and valued and all of those things. Haumea, like if I drop into this energy of Haumea, she is creation from her being, right? Like she is so beautiful. She is the reality that it's like I almost don't want to speak for her because it almost feels like I'm violating something by doing this. But in that eclipse gathering, I'm going to channel a message. I'm going to channel an experience, an opportunity for us all to experience this Haumea energy and the energy of the eclipses in general. But the Haumea energy, is playing out very strongly in all of it. So I'll say certain things right now, but I'll leave it to the reality that I don't know. I don't know the answer, and I certainly don't know the answer that would come through you, and that's meant to come through you in all of this. But just in this immediate moment, what comes to me about this Haumea energy is, again, it's I drop into my body, and I don't not only drop into my body, I drop into my whole being as a co-creator with life. And I'll say more about this when I'm talking about the second eclipse. But what's also fascinating about the upcoming weeks is that there's this whole dynamic with the asteroid Eros, which I talked about. I did a whole free talk on Eros itself in February. So you can go back and again, you can see the free talk on Estrella, you can see the free talk on Eros. Those are there. And I also did a workshop on Eros. And anyway, those are all available. But one thing I talked about in the Eros workshop, that free workshop, is when Pluto entered Aquarius on March 23rd, it was conjunct Eros, the asteroid. So Pluto entered Aquarius on March 23rd, 2023. Eros entered Aquarius on March 24th, 2023. It's like almost precisely conjunct. And over this coming few weeks, Eros is going to do the most fascinating dance with the asteroid Haumea. So I also did a free talk on Haumea last fall, which you can also find on my YouTube channel. And and in the Eros talk, I talk about the dance between Haumea and Eros. And also, just as a side note, I'm doing a workshop on Haumea with Farina Borel for our Goddess series next Tuesday. Next week is going to be a very busy week for me. So next Tuesday, April 18th, we're going to do a live and recorded workshop on Haumea for our Goddess series. We're doing one goddess per month. And we just are finishing up our month on Hecate. And then this coming month, we're starting a month on Haumea. So that will be on April 18th, 2023. But again, it's going to be recorded and you can join us anytime for this series. Really beautiful series. We have an amazing, wise, compassionate group of people who have joined us for this series. And yeah, I love it. I'm really, really enjoying it. And we would love to welcome you into that if it calls to you. So anyways, one thing that I've been looking at as I'm preparing for that workshop on Haumea, again, is this dance between Eros and Haumea over the coming weeks. And when I was looking at the astrology of the May 5th lunar eclipse, the full moon eclipse coming up, May 5th, 2023, that full moon will be at 14, almost 15 degrees of Scorpio, and it will be squaring Eros Hygeia, and Cheroklo. So Cheroklo is one of the centaurs. And Cheroklo, this is a whole other conversation, but Cheroklo is, as a mythic, in terms of the mythology, is the wife of Chiron. So again, I was talking about Chiron and how powerful the Chiron energy has been in these weeks, and then coming up also in the coming year. Very, very, very powerful and strong. Something I talked about with Melanie Reinhardt, again, in this video that will be free for all of you who sign up for Rebecoming the One in 2023. So, yay. But Cheroklo, in general, is an energy of holding space. So she, to me, is like, if you're familiar with craniosacral therapy or Reiki, she's that energy when we just sit and we just are present, but we're present in a very conscious space holding way. And Cheroklo, actually, of course, not surprisingly, very strong in my natal chart too. She's conjunct my Venus, which is conjunct my South Node, and conjunct my Chiron. Anyway, so I relate so strongly to the Cheroklo energy too. And I think lots of us do. That I think a lot of you who come to my events and who are working with in my community and that kind of thing, I think a lot of us feel called to just simply be, just to hold the space. Sometimes the most healing thing we can do is actually just to be quiet and but intentional, not absent quiet, but present quiet, and just here. That is, to me, Cheroklo energy, or one aspect of Cheroklo energy. So that full moon for that second eclipse, May 5th, will be squaring Cheroklo, Hygeia, and Eros. And the south node of the moon will be still moving toward Haumea, which by that time will have moved into Libra, but the south node will still be in Scorpio. That's a lot of details, and again, I'll look at that, show that more deeply at that eclipse gathering. But there's just this incredibly strong energy in both of these eclipses around remembering this other way of being that is actually incredibly natural to who we are, and that is so much about the energetic, the healing, the co-creative way of being that we naturally are, that is not necessarily linear, that is not necessarily rational, that is not necessarily coming from our brain or our linear way of thinking in our mind. Again, with the south node in Scorpio and Pluto squaring the nodes, and Pluto squaring especially that new moon at the first eclipse, it's this energy of we're still deeply letting go of these old structures, these old ways of being, so that we can come into this clear, clean, powerful, yet simple, crystalline, crystal clear presence. And so then we can just be ready to be these vessels of the divine, whatever that happens to mean, which again, I don't know the answer. I don't know the what, and I guess that's the how. The only answer to the how I would have really at this moment is that's the how, is to be I feel us being called to just do that releasing, and to then be fully present as this crystal clear, crystalline earth light vessel being that we are. And then the what and the how will be shown, like moment to moment. That's what I get told. And that feels really true for me. But the what and the how, I'm feeling coming from here as opposed to from here, if that makes sense. And the energies of these eclipses, it's just like so much of these energies are like the Haumea, ourselves as creator beings from our whole being, not only from like our reproductive organs, but like all of who we are, just birthing galaxies, birthing planets, that's the energy of who we are. We are creation itself. We are source itself. And Haumea to me is a reminder of that reality. And that means birthing all kinds in this lifetime. It doesn't, probably not going to go around birthing galaxies from our earth body, our human, maybe, I don't know, but no. But we absolutely are creating from this being that we are all the time in all kinds of ways that we maybe see and maybe don't see. And that, that can mean anything for you and anything for me, which again, I would love to hear your own feelings on. And then Estrella, the energy of Estrella, reminding us that we are literal connection between earth and star. That's what we are. We are cosmos and earth. Earth is cosmos and earth. We're all of it as one. And then Cherklo, holding space, just being present, being this really healing presence that's just is. And Eros, again, a reminder that we are life force energy, that we are divine sexuality. That is what we are, and it's needed to be online. It's needed to be, again, we clear maybe old karmic things in our relationship to this Eros energy so that we can just be fully grounded, aligned in a way that feels safe and free and alive and flowing. And just this beautiful glowing essence of life force energy that we are, and that we're needed to be in every moment, regardless of our age, whatever age we are, what sexual orientation. That's not the point. It's it just is who we are. And then Hygeia in the mix, all of it as well, in this dance with Eros, in this dance with Cherklo, in this dance with that full moon on that eclipse, and on May 5th, Eros and Hygeia and Cherklo all squaring that full moon. So Hygeia, healer that we all are, so beautiful. Cherklo, the wife of Chiron, also a healer. Cherklo's a healer in her own way too. And none of these energies are particularly linear, to me at least, and none of them are particularly rational. But they are, I think they're the energies, some of the energies that are meant to be supporting us and meant to be reminding us who we are and what this next phase of our way of being is meant to be. Yeah, so that we can just, like, what I feel in my own body, even right this minute, talking about it, is the sense of, it's just so beautiful and it's so alive. It feels really exciting. It feels really like I feel in love with life. That's what I feel. I feel really, really, really excited and happy. Like I want to just I want these energies to just birth through me, to birth through all of us, to birth with the earth, birth with the cosmos. And my intention, and well, my role, and I think lots of our role, is just simply to be here. Again, that Cheroklo energy, just be present as all of this life force energy is being birthed through these crystal clear vessels that we are, as we move into this new phase, this new time. Incredibly powerful. Yeah. Okay. So, and then the last thing I'm feeling called to say is, eclipse energies are, I can speak from personal experience, including the last set of eclipses last fall. Yes, they are often come with very quick, very rapid, very unexpected changes. Yes. Yes. I'm nodding. That's just, I can attest to that. And so in all of that, and especially with Uranus energy still very prominent in these energies, the May 5th eclipse, on the May 5th eclipse, the sun will be at 14, almost 15 degrees of Taurus, very, very, very close to Uranus still. So Uranus was playing extremely strongly in the eclipses last fall, in October, November of 2022. So that quick, fast change, just radical alignment with the intelligence of the divine energy, but that was extremely strong in those eclipses. But Uranus is still very present in this eclipse season, especially with that full moon eclipse. But just in general, it's still very strong. And yeah, many components there. But so I just want to name that, yes, eclipse times can have these really quick, rapid changes and can feel disorienting and all of that. But the point or the purpose is really to help us to align with, especially with this Uranian energy, with ourselves as the intelligence of the divine. And so one thing I'm being told to say is that it's always important, but it's especially important in these moments to have ways to ground, to radically ground, stay really rooted and grounded here, and aligned with yourself, with the divine, with the earth, in whatever ways feel right for you. And that's one of the intentions of all of the work I do, is to help provide tools and ways to stay grounded, aligned, clear. And that's part of what I will be holding that intention in that space, in that eclipse gathering on the 21st, is to how to navigate this eclipse energy, which can again can feel destabilizing or have lots of changes, but do it in a way that feels grounded, aligned, clear, and so that you can move through it in the way that feels the most supported, and so you can thrive, so you can ride the waves and feel held, whatever that means for you. Okay, yeah, I think that's everything I feel called to say today. So again, next week I have so many things going on I didn't even mention, so I'll name all the things going on next week. So I'm recording this on April 11th, 2023. Next Tuesday, April 18th, I'm holding that Hygeia workshop with Verena Burrell in our Goddess series. You can sign up for that anytime. Again, it'll be recorded, so you can join us live or have the recording, and you, when you join that, you we drop into one goddess per month. And so on that website, which I will link here, it names all the goddesses that we're doing this year. We're also going to be doing a whole set of 12 more goddesses next year. So we're doing a goddess per month, kind of indefinitely for quite a while. And we'll also probably be repeating the ones we did this year, next year. So yeah, but you can drop in, join in anytime, catch up anytime you want. Yeah, that's available. So that's next Tuesday, April 18th. Then Wednesday, the 19th is this eclipse that I've just been talking a lot about, new moon eclipse. Then on the 20th, this is something I didn't even mention yet, I'm holding a free talk on Aries Xena. And if you are on my email list, I will send out the Zoom link for that talk. I would love to have you there live. It will also be recorded though, and so you don't have to be there live. I will send out the recording again to my email list, but that's going to be with EA Zoom meeting, and yeah, but I would love to have you there live. I'm going to be talking about the dwarf planet and Kuiper Belt Object that is most often known as Aries, but was originally named Xena, and so I'm going to be dropping into what the two stories are, the Xena story and the Aries story. And, I'll be really exploring what do those two narratives give to us, because I think they both offer something. And the whole story behind why Aries was called Aries as opposed to Xena is fascinating in and of itself. Yeah, I would love to have you be part of that conversation again live, and so I feel like all of these are collective conversations. I don't really want to be the expert up there giving answers. It's more of I would love to share with you what I know, and then I would love to hear what comes up, what arises for you, or what you know that I didn't know. And so again, I'd love to have you there live. That will be Thursday, April 20th at 1 p.m. Pacific. And that's a free talk with EA Zoom. So be on my email list if you want to have the Zoom link for that or the recording for that. Then on Friday, April 21st, I am holding the eclipse gathering that I've been talking about. And that's again at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, or 7 p.m. Central European time. And that will also be recorded. You can be there live or not. It will be a 2-hour workshop. You can come for part of it, leave when you need to leave. And yeah, I'll be looking at some charts of volunteers of people who can be there live. So I have room again for maybe 1 or 2 more. I already have a list of people who want to be volunteers, but be in touch with me if you would like to join me and be a volunteer. Yeah, and in the meantime, I am just doing a ton to get ready for Rebecoming the One 2023, which is going to be starting on June 1st. So it's actually coming up. The website is pretty much done, and I've been recording a lot of the interviews for that. It's amazing what's coming through in those. I'm really excited to share that with you. Most of it is going to be free and available indefinitely. And when you sign up, the one video that I realized I really just want to give you right away because it's so amazing is, and I just want to share it, is the interview that I did with Melanie Reinhardt on the astrology of now. That's what she called it. And it was a really wonderful conversation. So when you sign up for the symposium, I will link you to that talk immediately, and it's just a treat. It's just like, I just want to give it to you like I want to give you a cupcake or something. It's a really nourishing cupcake, a really, not one that will give you a sugar high, a really wonderful wholesome one. Yeah, so that's the biggest thing that I'm working on this month and in the month of May, and in the month of May, I'll probably be relatively quiet because I'm going to be working very hard on preparing for becoming the one. And yeah, but I'll send out more information about that soon. There are so many amazing speakers in that. It's just like hard to even list them. Of the astrologers who will be part of it, it's Melanie Reinhardt, Heather Ensworth, Ari Moshe Wolfe, Verena Burrell, Gemini Brett, Louise Eddington, on and I mean, just I don't want to forget people. It's just so many. And then I would say the astrologers are maybe 40 to less than half are astrologers actually, and just so many amazing humans. So please join us. I'd love to have you. Tell all your friends about it. It's going to be a really, really, really beautiful gathering. Hopefully very healing, very Cheroklo energy, just holding space for healing of our relationships to gender and sexuality and for our world in general. Okay, that's all for right now. You can reach me at livingtheonelight@gmail.com or my website, livingtheonelight.com. The link to Rebecoming the One is actually already up. The website, I'm still kind of working on it, but I did put the link there. If you want to sign up, you can. And I will send out more information on that when it's ready. We'll be ready soon. And that's it. Yeah. Join me again for any and all of those gatherings next week. I would love to see you at anything that calls to you. So thank you. And yeah, I'm excited about this time coming up. We can all be Haumea and birth galaxies from our being. Let's do it. Okay. See you soon.